Thank you for joining us for this presentation about Project LinkGate for Web Archive Graph Visualization. My name is Youssef Eldakar with the Biblioteca Alexandrina, and we are very pleased to have been working together with the National Library of New Zealand under IIPC funding for the year 2020 to develop a graph visualization system with focus on Web Archive temporal data and scalability. In the project, Biblioteca Alexandrina worked on developing software core functionality, and the National Library of New Zealand worked on compiling an inventory of research use cases. Previously, in 2016, Biblioteca Alexandrina presented a tool for visualizing crawl logs, the Crawl Log Animator. With LinkGate, we are taking the idea of visualizing Web Archive data as a graph a step further, to develop a modular, cloud-based solution that has the potential to scale up to billions of nodes. We developed three interoperable software components: a data service, a linked data collection tool, and a visualization front end. The inventory of research use cases will guide future development to meet the needs of Web Archive researchers. We will now hear from the LinkGate project team.
This is Morad from the Biblioteca Alexandrina. I'll be talking about what's LinkServe. LinkServe is a service that is used to insert temporal graph data extracted from the Web Archive data through LinkIndexer. This service retrieves these data for rendering and navigation purposes. This service is designed with data scalability in mind. It's also important to mention that public license databases needs to be used. A data model is designed for storing temporal or versioned graph data. A technical survey for different data stores which most fit the application has been conducted. Virtuoso for Store, OrionDB and others were considered. Neo4j and ArangoDB are chosen as the best fit for the application. Both provide high-performance read and write operations for both retrieval and insertion requests. We designed a data model to support temporal data in Neo4j. As mentioned before, the most important design goal for LinkServe is scalability. For Neo4j solution, we hit a wall with a single instance. Neo4j supports clustering in the Enterprise Edition only. Therefore, we implemented our own version of clustering using Neo4j. It depends mainly on the concept of edge cuts. As a Neo4j in ArangoDB, this is a data model we designed to handle temporal data. We leverage the technology itself at the task of implementing clustering through coordinators, agents, and data servers. LinkServe is implemented as a web service using Java and the Spring Boot framework. It also provides an API for exposing functionalities supported by the data schema. Moreover, the LinkServe is compatible with the Gephi streaming plugin, which means Gephi can be used to render data from the LinkServe. For the future, we are considering the design and implementation of replication mechanism according to real and expected workload, as well as continue API development. Large-scale testing is one of the most important points along with enhancing logs. We are also looking for supporting alternative data sources. Thank you.
My name is Mohammed Elsayed at Biblioteca Alexandrina, and I am here to tell you about LinkIndexer. LinkIndexer is a data extraction tool that operates on Web Archive storage to extract work target URI, work dates, and outlinks. It sends these extracted information to the LinkServe using a RESTful API that's also compatible with Gephi. LinkIndexer accepts ARC, work, WATs, and CSV as input. It uses Web Archive commands for generating WAT files from ARC or work on the fly with an option keep to whether keep or delete after successfully processing it and send the extracted information to the LinkServe. It is written as Python command line tool with the goal of being convenient to use in a distributed large-scale environment. Features to highlight in LinkIndexer include format handling is split into separate modules for easy expansion of format support. LinkIndexer is network tolerant and supports timeouts and retries. Logs are printed in a script-friendly format. LinkIndexer has more options that can be used to customize its behavior, and all options can be supplied on the command line or using a configuration file. We intend to carry on development and add more features in addition to make more large-scale tests, enhance logging, support more input formats, and extract additional metadata. It would be our pleasure to invite you to give it a try and get in touch. Thank you.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mohamed Elfarargy and I'm going to show you around the LinkGate website. And this is particularly about the visualization tool, which is LinkViz, the visualization component of the LinkGate project. So to start off, here's the website, the home page for the website, and basically all you have to do here is to type in the website or the URL that you would like to look for saved Web Archive snapshots for. So here I'm going to start searching for this. URL, and now I'm taken to the graph visualization page, and to the left is my graph locator, and here I have this tree view which has a list of the snapshots we have for this website for the archived data. But if you would like to have a more convenient way of finding your snapshot, you can click on this calendar icon, and now if I click on any of these calendars, it's going to show all the snapshots that I have for this website in April. For example, let's click this one, and here I have a couple of snapshots taken in the same day, so I'm going to click one of them, and it's going to load my graph visualization. Here's the result, and keep in mind that this is a graph of depth 1, so if you increase the depth, you're going to get a larger graph, but you have to keep in mind that with each step and the depth that you take, it's going to increase the number of nodes exponentially, and hence the loading time as well. Anyway, now I can zoom in, zoom out with the scroll wheel, or using these two icons on the button, on the top part. And if you'd like to reset your view, you just like click on this button, and it's going to reset your view. The next is the filtering feature. So if I would like to locate some node in this graph based on the text of the URL, so if I type Adobe in here, now you're going to see that all of the nodes have been grayed out except for this one, which has been highlighted. So I do indeed have an Adobe link in the home page of this website. Now I'm going to clear this filter. The next tool is the screenshot tool, which is going to save an image file of the current graph. So if I click here, it's going to save an image of the current graph, and this image is going to have a transparent background for easier editing in programs like Photoshop or any other editing software. Now next is visors, and visors are tools that display extra information on top of the existing graph nodes. So the first visor here is the favicon visor, which is this one, and if I click here, when this visor is activated, any page belonging to a website that has a favicon will show this favicon on top of the corresponding node. So if I zoom in here, you'll immediately start seeing that the favicons are displayed on top, and this immediately makes the graph much easier to understand. It's now easier to visually locate identifiable websites like Twitter in here. You can see Facebook in here, for example. So you can see this is one of the advantages of having a tool that is created specifically for the visualization of Web Archive data. We also have a flag visor which displays country flags for domain names containing country codes. Next thing is the path finder. So if you'd like to find the path between any two nodes, you're going to use this tool. So here I'm going to click the first node in this path, and then I'm going to select the second one, and it's going to highlight the path between these two nodes in red, and it's going, and then after a few seconds it's going to fade away. This graph, you can actually change the layout manually, basically change the look of the graph according to your needs, but we have also added so many tools to customize the look of this graph. So if you click here, you're going to find settings for the nodes, the edges, and the background. So you might want to assign a random color for each of the domain names. So if I click this button, and I'm going to remove these favicons. So now you can find that domain names, different domain names have different random colors assigned to them. Next is the node labels. Now, if you take a look at any of these labels, you can see it's actually in a short format of sorts. We have the main website URL, and then everything in between that and the final page file, everything is removed to keep the labels from being too long. But if you would like to show the complete URL of each of these nodes, you can switch to this long format, and now as you can see you have the entire URL on top of each of these nodes. So next, if you click on any of these nodes, you are going to and hold for 1 second, you are going to get this circular menu. The most important part at the moment is this show info, which is going to open this small panel to the bottom. You have here some information about this page, like the in-links and outlinks, a complete listing of in-links and outlinks. Now this node, because we have a graph of one, we don't have any outlinks, but we have only one link, which is coming from the home page. And then the first, we have the properties. If we go to the home page and click, now you see the outlinks. We have a complete listing of all the nodes that you can see in the graph. And if I would like to visit any of these nodes, all I have to do is to click on this button, and it's going to load this page from the archive in a new tab. So here it's doing that, and as you can see, it has loaded that page from the web archive.
My name is Rizq from the Biblioteca Alexandrina. I will now demonstrate the timeline feature. The purpose of the timeline feature is to animate changes across multiple snapshots. To run a timeline in the graph locator, click this button to switch to timeline mode. Then select the snapshots you wish to animate. Of course, you have to choose at least 2 snapshots. Then click Build Timeline. As you can see, nodes are either opaque or transparent. An opaque node is one that exists in the current snapshot in the timeline. Finally, click play to watch the animation.
Kia ora everyone, my name is Lana Alsabbagh and I'm the Digital Research Coordinator at the National Library of New Zealand, and I am here to tell you about a joint project with the Biblioteca Alexandrina that we are working on, which is developing web archive research use cases. To give you a little bit of background on how we went about developing these use cases, we conducted interviews with people involved in web archive research from academic, archival, or library backgrounds, and we asked them what are some possible uses that you can envision for a web archive visualization software, and we came up with the following. So being able to visually represent the inception and flow of content through the web and create a networked representation of the resulting relationships and influence over time. To be able to hide sections of data within the visualization that are unnecessary to a particular research topic. In other words, to be able to avoid what we commonly refer to as the fuzzy hairball problem. Because as we know, when we try to create visualizations of web archive data, there's a ton of it, and often it becomes unwieldy. To split outlinks into categories by domain or other attributes such as geography. To be able to visualize text and images. To scale up to visualizing a data set in its entirety. To create a visual representation of the metadata headers in crawl logs. And finally, to be able to extract thematic document collections from large-scale web archives to provide tailored views into a web archive, which is especially useful if you're trying to create curated web archive views for classrooms or school children or different audiences. For more details about the use cases that we created during the LinkGate project, we have provided the link down below. Thank you very much.
Thank you for staying for the presentation. Check these links for more, and please get in touch with feedback and ideas.